Welcome, everyone, to the first episode of a new show within the Biz Dojo, Sportz Journeyz. So JP and I, we've been really lucky. We've been, interacting with quite a few athletes and people in the sports industry over the last few months. So much so that we felt like it was a great opportunity to start another segment that we could actually use to launch our YouTube channel. So JP, I don't know if you have any top-ups on that, but we're pretty excited to bring this new show, new content for folks.
Just another line in our long line of things we've realized over the last few months that we could do and have some interesting stories to share. So I'm excited about this.
Yeah. So with that, our first guest is Chris Miller, professional hooper, I think is your Instagram handle. I'm not sure. Yeah. I think you're between teams right now. Just kind of got back from a stint overseas in Bosnia, and we're super excited to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to get this story out and get talking with you guys.
Yeah, no. So let's maybe just go back a little bit. Was there anyone who specifically inspired you to get into basketball, or maybe a game that you watched? Like what really got you into basketball in the first place?
Well, growing up in Brooklyn, like basketball is the main sport. So just seeing all the older guys play basketball, played it as I had a little hoop as a child in my house, so I was always around the game. And then I think I got more serious with it when I turned around like 12. All my older cousins were around like 15 and they would always take me to the park. And, I would just play with them hours on hours. As soon as it got hot, even if it was cold, put some gloves on, go outside and play. And I just fell in love with the game then, and when I started getting good enough to keep up with those guys, the next step was making my high school team. And I ended up doing that and then just took it every year since.
Were you a Brooklyn Nets fan, or they probably weren't in Brooklyn yet when you were kind of coming up, or just kind of getting there?
Well, I have family in New York and New Jersey. So we have grown up in New York. We had the Nets channel and the Knicks channel. And this is when they both sucked. So, like you have that some kind of like hope that each year would be better. But each year was just disappointing. I was happy when they did win, but I wasn't surprised when they lost.
Did you have any favorite players growing up?
Well, my favorite players growing up were Kobe, Tracy McGrady, and Vince Carter. Those three guys were like my all-time favorites still to this day.
Air Canada, that's our guy right there. We actually talked about
first jersey.
Was it? That's awesome.
That was my first jersey. The Nets Vince Carter jersey. That was my first jersey I bought.
That's awesome. Vince, he's very influential up here in Canada. I was a big Vancouver Grizzlies fan, and then they moved, and I kind of was like not into basketball for a couple of years because I was so upset. And then Vince Carter brought me back in with the slam dunk competition back in like 98 or whatever that was.
I think it was 2000, and that was like the first couple of like YouTube videos that I would watch. Like I would just type up Vince Carter's top 100 dunks, and that's how I became like a fan of him in like, I don't know, 05 or something like that. I was late to the party, but watching his dunks, jumping over the guy, man, he was just. I can't dunk like him, but I have some similar dunks, but I can't do all that he does.
That dunk in the Olympics over that guy from France who was like 7'2" or whatever, that's got to be the best dunk of all time, or right up there.
I think it's definitely top 5. You can like debate whichever 5, but it has to be in
there. Awesome. So you're loving basketball, growing up in Brooklyn, you make your high school team, things are going pretty well. What was your next sort of hurdle into college ball and that kind of thing? How did that go for you?
So I didn't really know much about the basketball world as far as recruiting goes and SATs and eligibility and stuff like that. So I was just I was so focused in playing. By the time I got to my senior year, I had a few schools, but I didn't take any of the SATs or placement, anything to get eligible. So I had to go to a junior college first. My grades weren't bad. I just didn't, I didn't take the test, the SATs for it. So I went to a junior college called Clinton Community up in Plattsburgh, New York. That's about 30 minutes south of Montreal. And I had a good career there. I think I finished out like number 3 leading scorer of the program. And my senior night, I scored 50 points in the game. That was like the school record.
That's awesome.
So from there, I went to a Division II called Salem International. We were a good school. We just couldn't get it together. I think we were definitely like a very talented group, but I just think we had too much talent, and that kind of, at the end of the day, hurt us. So yeah.
And so, going through that experience, and looking back, what were maybe some of the biggest things that you've taken from that college experience that has helped you in your pro career?
Okay, so in college, I always had the work ethic, but it's college, so it's easy to get distracted. And I missed out on a lot of opportunities. I feel like I had a good college career, but I feel like if I was focused like I should have been, then I would have had a way better career, way better turnout. So when I got the opportunity to play professionally, I just kept the same work ethic, but I just cut out all the distractions that would, keep me away from like playing my best. So it was just like taking all the drills, just the mentality that I learned in college basketball, and just like focusing in on that. And I feel like once I 100% locked into, this is what I want to do with my life, that's when things started like just shifting gears and going like towards my dreams, for real.
Awesome. So you were in this Div 2, you had some great teammates, you're lots of talent. At what point do you shift towards professional? Like how did the next couple of steps happen?
It was a grind. I wasn't a big name coming out of school at all. At the end of my senior year, I didn't even start. So as soon as we lost in the playoffs, I went to Eurobasket.com. And when I tell you, I got all the emails of like all the agents, all the teams that I could find. I looked up all the guys that I personally know that were playing overseas, and I looked at their teams, and I just started emailing everybody, emailing as much people as I can. I went to as many tryouts as I can for different overseas opportunities, G League opportunities. And I've ran into a lot of scams, just a bunch of scams. But you take it, you take the hits with it. So I definitely gained some kind of network. I learned as I was going. And then at the end of the year, I ended up in a semi-pro in Jamestown, New York, south of Niagara. So after just playing there, gathering a tape together to try to go to overseas camps and try to, finally get an opportunity overseas. Then 2016 summer, I went to a German tour where, you take 20 American guys, bring them to Germany to play against different professional teams in order to try out. So that program was called Howard Hoops. The CEO of that is Ron Howard. He brought us over, and I was one of 5 guys to get a contract. And then, just from there.
That, you said it, that it's been a grind, and it sounds like you've had to overcome a lot.
I'm giving like the long story short version, but it was definitely a lot of nights of just doubts, and I'm basically spending all the money that I'm earning on tryouts and travel and hotel, and just constantly knowing that I'm a good player, but just not doing it the right way. and then seeing politics firsthand. You know, I went to a G League camp for the Delaware 87ers. That's the 76ers G League team. And I feel like I did really well. But the guys that I was going against were from Syracuse and were from this big name school, that big name school. They had their agents with them. And I saw firsthand that it's not like what you can do is who you know, it's who's backing you. And you know, that part of the game is kind of heartbreaking because it's like I can play basketball with these guys, but they're getting opportunities because they're agents and who they know, and I'm nobody, you know. So just going through that and just continuing to believe in myself and knowing that as soon as I get this first shot, like I'm gonna kill it. Like I'm just gonna show them that I belong in this game. I belong being professional. And every game that I play now, I still feel that, you know, because I don't feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be, but I am better than I was last year or yesterday. So I'll get there eventually.
How do you hold that mindset? Like, that's got to be tough. You go through all that travel, you go through the scams, you're working hard at just trying to make it there yourself. How do you keep a positive mindset through that?
I just couldn't. I still to this day can't see myself doing anything else. I have a lot of talents, so it's not like I can't do anything else, but I don't want to. Like I wake up in the morning and I think about basketball. I think about playing. I think about getting better. You know, I still have that competitive mindset. I still feel like that kid at 12 years old, you know, trying to impress my older cousins. You know, so like it's just I don't see anything else. Like nothing else is fun. You know, if I'm not playing basketball, I feel weird. So in the back of my head, I have this dream and I'm just like, I don't see why it can't happen. And the way I keep it going is it's just little hints here and there, little gradual changes that I see. Like it gets better, like a little by little. And if you keep going, like eventually you're going to get there. So like, I just try to like, just ignore, you know, all the little hiccups and just take it as a learning lesson and don't play the victim. A lot of people would in that situation would try to play victim and just quit. But I'm personally not a quitter. So I like to see it through. And it's been I would say successful so far. So why stop now? You know?
Oh, it's very inspiring, Chris. So what's your goal? Is your NBA or bust, or where's your headspace at with that at this point?
I mean, at this point, I've played on like 6 or 7 professional teams. I've been around the world. NBA is a goal. It always has to be the goal. It's the highest level, and I want to play in the highest level, period. But if I don't make that, I won't be 100% sad, you know, because I'm a kid from Brownsville, Brooklyn, and I didn't see myself making it this far. I knew I could make it. You know, I always had that dream. But like turning that dream into a reality, and with the situations that I've been through, with where I'm from, and it's a long shot, you know. So I already feel like happy with where I came from. My journey so far is just about just keeping it going at this point. So it's for me personally, I changed it from the NBA to the highest level that I can reach. So whatever level that is, as long as I know, like, all right, this is it, you know, maybe age would play a factor, maybe, you know, my name not being big enough will be a factor, but whatever the highest league that I personally feel like I can get to, I'll be happy with that.
You mentioned you've had the opportunity to go all over the world. I mean, a lot of people don't get that opportunity. I mean, I think I've had a pretty successful career in life, and I've never left North America. So like that's awesome in itself. Yeah. What, you know, I know you were just over in Bosnia. Maybe just quickly, what was that experience like for you? Because I'm pretty sure that must have been eye-opening in some ways.
Well, with this COVID situation, just everything is difficult, you know. So I was in a small village, mountain town. It was called, I'm going to say it, Gorazde. I think it's something like that. Right near Sarajevo, which is the capital of Bosnia. but it's a very, very small village town, literally 5 minutes walking in any direction and you're at the end of town. Very nice, very scenic. I lived 1 block away from the river. We had the river, a couple of restaurants, a couple of bars on the way to the gym and the gym. It was nothing to do. Everything closed around like 9:30. So all we had was just basketball, our restaurants, if you wanted to go to a bar, and if, you know, your grocery store. So I didn't really get a good sense of Bosnia because everything was so shut down. And we were only there for about, I was only there for like 8 weeks.
Right.
7 games, literally 7 games. And I left after the last game because it was just nothing for me to do. I tried to like see the place, but everything was so shut down with Corona and all this situation. So I just said, if I get a chance to come back, I'll just try it like fully another time.
I guess in that situation, though, it probably played well to limiting distractions and getting you to be able to focus for those games and the time you were there.
Yeah, so I came off an injury. I fractured my ankle in 2019 summer. So this Bosnia was my first situation, was my first opportunity since the injury. So my mindset, like my hunger over the last 2 years, year and a half, just grew. So, you know, same situation like when I was trying out the first time to be a pro. And I said, like, when I get this chance, I'm going to show because, you know, I got hurt. A lot of people said I wouldn't be the same player. A lot of people said I was finished. Oh, I'm 27 right now. Oh, are you getting older? Blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I said, once I get there, like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to basketball home. And I did that for the most part. I did that, had a drink literally right after the last game of the season. And that was the first drink I had in about three months being out there, you know, just a little celebratory, you know, something that I just felt a little accomplished. Like I finally had a season where I locked in as much as I possibly could. And my last game, I finished with 40 points. So I like that feeling. And I feel like when I really lock in, I can get a lot of things accomplished.
So you've had a bit of I will call it a meandering path that you've, for the most part, forged yourself to get yourself where you want to be. What advice would you give to someone who's growing up and coming up in basketball right now?
I mean, my biggest advice is just believe in yourself. You know, if you have that dream, don't let anybody take it away. It sounds so like it's so repetitive, like this advice, but it's true. Like a lot of people think there's some kind of secret to like successful people, but I literally watch and listen to successful people all the time. They say the same things. If you have a dream, follow it. Don't let anything take away from it, and just do what you know is going to bring you toward that. You know, you can't have a dream and then not work toward it. It's just not going to work. You know, so like if you believe in your heart and you really want it to happen, it'll happen for you. Maybe not as fast as you want it to happen, but just keep going. You know, and that's what I live by, and that's the only thing I can say. You know, just find a person that is doing what you want to do, and just listen to their story and listen to how they did it and try to imitate that until you find your own routine. And yeah, that's really about it.
Simple but sound advice, I think. One of the things, Chris, that you've also been working on is you've got your own company. You've got some branded apparel. You're doing some skills development for kids.
Yeah.
What is that all about, and where do you see that going?
So Miller Vision is what the brand is called. It was literally, I started off to be some kind of like docuseries. It hasn't even started yet. I was just trying to, fresh out of college in 2015, I was going to document my journey of trying to become a pro and becoming a pro. And then it started off, made some t-shirts. People started liking those. And then I started just making, at the time, I was just going broke trying to afford Nike and Adidas products and other basketball products. And then I said, like, I take that same mentality, like, why not make it myself? Nike shirts are $35. If I want to make my own shirt, it costs $5. Like, I can get 6 to 7 shirts for the same price as another shirt. And then people want to buy it on top of that, so I can make some kind of profit from that. So that just built in its own. I'm like, I can't afford anything else. That's the only reason why I made the clothing. I literally couldn't afford anything else. And then the training part, I could never afford a trainer either. So I would go on YouTube. I would start doing my own workouts in college, high school and college. My teammates would start joining in with me. And then I have a little cousin and his friend, which are both like soon to be All-Americans. They would just work out with me. And that's how it started. Like we would just literally work out, and then other people would ask me to join. And every country I've been to, I make sure in my contract there's some kind of like skills development that's available for me, like to help out. And I just love it. I love just showing guys like different things that I used in the game to be successful, and just how to work out. A lot of kids want to do all of this fancy stuff, but you have to do things that's gonna translate to your game. Like, I understand you want to do all this dribbling, but it looks good when you score a lot of points, and you need to learn how to score a lot of points. So I try to teach that mentality and just simple ways to the game that's effective.
So where do you see that going?
Right now I'm happy with like the growth. I have a partner who's in Sacramento, California, and he has his own gym out there. His name is Dante Miller. He helps out the Miller Vision branch in the West Coast. I personally haven't been able to really get my side up because I'm still playing. But for now, summers, trainings, camps, but I really want to just go full time with it when I finish playing, whenever that is. And until then, I'll just continue to just grow it little by little. It's no rush. But this is something that I definitely enjoy. I had a kid that I trained last summer. He just texted me and said that he had a couple of schools that were interested in him, like a couple of colleges that was interested in him. And he said, he sent me a nice message. Thank you so much for helping me. Thank you for mentoring me, just being there. And a lot of these guys, they just need somebody that they can relate to, that just has some kind of faith in them. Like your parents, you kind of feel like they have to believe in you, whatever they say. But if you have somebody that you look up to that's, showing you and helping you out, like that means a lot in some of these kids' lives. I personally needed that when I was growing up. I didn't have it as much. So I just decided to be that person that I needed when I was younger. And I really try to just live by that.
That's got to feel pretty good. I mean, yeah. Working with kids, I've worked with kids for a while too. And it always feels good to work with them, but especially when you have something that you've been working on for so long to give back, and seeing someone succeed, become All-American and getting recruited. Yeah. Like that's amazing.
Yeah. So my All-American guys who I'm stamping now, they're like top, I don't know, depending, top 5 in the country of freshmen. So, my little cousin, his name is Tahad Pettiford. He plays for Hudson Catholic, and his best friend, my adopted little cousin, Elliot Cadeau. And those two guys, we've been training since they were about like, I don't know, 6, 7. And now they're like 16, dunking, half court buzzer beaters. Just their game is way more advanced than mine ever was. And I'm okay with that, because it's supposed to be the next generation up, next best step. So I feel like as long as I, do my part, and it's not just me, I'm not taking full credit for it, but as long as I do my part in trying to help out those guys, and whoever else, like, and they pay it forward, then I was a part of something good, and I just want to just keep the ball rolling, keep it going. You never know whose life you can change just by like showing them something, and a lot of people they don't really pay attention to that part, like how many lives you can really change.
That's very well said. I look back at my life, and JP and I have talked about this. There's a few people along the way who maybe they didn't, teach you the key to life, or they didn't give you the exact thing that you needed to be successful in your career, but they believed in you. And, that helps your confidence, that helps you grow as a person. And if you can pay that back in any way for people, that's so powerful.
Yeah. I still remember, my first coaches, and they might have just thought that I was some little kid, another little kid, but like they have changed my life, and just those, like I said, those little situations where they might have taught you something. Or my first coach in my junior college, I didn't feel like I knew I could be a good player, but I didn't have the confidence at the time. So one of my assistant coaches in junior college came up to me the first practice and said, "You're a good player. You're going to have a 30-point game." And at the time, it was like, that was like so far off. I'm like, I'm not even started, And then for me to start finding that confidence in myself, and then finally realizing like I can play. And then, at the end of the year, scoring 50 points, I was like, I never forget that guy, because he saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself at the time. So you never forget those people that, believed in you.
So what about for yourself? You're doing a lot of work with kids and helping those others grow. What about for yourself? What are you doing to help yourself grow for the game and for yourself?
I mean, I'm still on the path. I'm still working out as hard as I can. I'm on a little bit of a month, 2 week to a month break, just getting some minor injuries out the way. Not even injuries, just like knickknacks. Just getting those out the way before I really start focusing in on my training. Excuse me, but it's nonstop. Like I don't just, like, my cousins are old enough now for us to train together, play together. So like those guys are keeping me going. So we'll start up soon, and then my program with my coach Khalil Sharad, he sends me every weight room programs every week. So I'm still very much after it. It's a lot of hours in a day, so I can do all of that stuff. I can do all of that and more in a day. So and I don't have a full-time job that takes me away from what I want to do. So it's just, I get it all done.
You got any leads for the upcoming season? Are you hoping to stay stateside, head back over to Europe? You're just kind of open to whatever?
I'm open to whatever, to be honest. I'm just looking for that next best step. I played in second league Bosnia, just finished that, and that was one of my higher level jobs. So at this point, I'm just trying to take that momentum and run with it. I was definitely on the up, the climb before I got hurt. So now I feel like I hopefully I proved that I'm back to that level that I was at before I got hurt, even better. Sitting out of the game for a while, you learn a lot. Your mental gets a lot better. Study the game, see it differently, it slows down. So this year, I just focused on the mental part of the game. The physical will come back. Like the physical already came back, So now I feel like I'm such a better player, and I really want to show that. As far as where, I heard about a new league in Canada that was opening up, but they kind of disappointed me when they said that they wouldn't be starting up until about March. But at this point, I'm open for anything, just as long as it makes sense to me and my family.
Well, Chris, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the first episode of Sportz Journeyz. Hearing your story is super inspiring, and we really love what you're up to, and wish you the best of success going forward. We'll definitely be checking out for Miller Vision and all the things that you get up to, and we just wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. I really appreciate you guys for having me on. And like I said, I'll definitely be watching out to see what's next.
Perfect. And for those of you at home that are new to our YouTube channel, please, what do they need to do, JP? Click subscribe? Is that a thing?
Yeah, click subscribe. We're also new to our YouTube channel. So yeah, click subscribe, and feel free to visit our website too, thebizdojo.com. We'll put some content up there as well.
And we're on all the social medias, Biz Dojo, at Biz Dojo Podcast.